Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me again. Really appreciate you connecting with me almost every day. And thank you for liking our videos and sharing them with your family, friends, and loved ones, and your comments. We appreciate them. And so thank you very, very much. Now, let's continue this theme of respect in our homes. And again, we can't emphasize the value, the import of respect and underscoring and highlighting and really improving the quality of respect in our homes. Because as I said before, our families, our homes are a microcosm of life and community. In other words, our families are the nucleus, if you will, of the body. In other words, what happens in our families, in our homes, you multiply that, and that's what you see in our cities, our region, our province, our states, our nation, and nations. And so the better we are in our families, the more we see it. It truly has a powerful impact on our society and communities at large. And we looked last time at the definition of respect, and let's say it again. So when we talk about being respectful and demonstrating and showing respect in our homes, we're talking about showing a certain high regard, high opinion, high value. We're talking about seeing one another and treating with one another with admiration, with attentiveness, with consideration. We're paying attention to one another. We're considerate of one another. We're thoughtful of one another. So very, very powerful. And I shared with you that to respect my wife means, again, using those same words, means I hold her in high esteem, high regard. I'm considerate of her. I'm thoughtful of her. I give her my attention. So the opposite is true also. If I don't have respect for my wife, then it means I don't value her. I don't esteem her highly. I have a low regard for her. I don't pay attention to her likes and dislikes. And so we talked about that last time. If you missed that, check out our previous video on respect in our homes. I believe it's a real blessing. It will be a blessing to you. And I shared with you, I had to learn to truly respect my wife, and I shared what that meant and how I had to develop this quality of respect for my wife in respecting her words, listening to her words which conveyed her heart. And what I learned and how, of course, you're still a work in progress, still learning and growing. But I tell you, when you learn to do that, it does bring a dimension of peace to your home and contentment and a certain quality of communication. Boy, that is very beautiful. And so, and building on that, let's say this, we need to say this. So in a marriage, it takes both parties showing real respect to one another. Again, respect meaning esteem, high regard, admiration, attentiveness, thoughtfulness, consideration, attention to one another. And so just as the husband has to show respect towards his wife, because it's a two-party affair, the wife also has to show respect to her husband. Thank God my wife is respectful towards me. So what does this respect look like? Well, for a wife towards her husband, her words, her tone, her attitude has to be right. It has to be respectful. It has to be a tone. It has to be words. It has to be attitudes and actions which show a high regard, a esteem, admiration, attentiveness, thoughtfulness towards her husband. Now, some people, I can hear people saying, well, he doesn't deserve it. Well, you see, if you're waiting until he deserves it, you'll be too late. Think about that. If you're waiting until he deserves it, you'll be too late. Just like flip it on the other side, just to show you we're fair here. If I waited until my wife, if I'm looking at her as the indicator, well, when she acts the way I want her to. And my wife is very beautiful. She's patient, enduring. I tell you, just wonderful. But you see, you understand, I had to correct myself. She couldn't correct me. By that I mean I had to learn to be respectful because it's right. It's the right thing to do. And so for a wife, you have to show respect to your husband. And what does that look like? Your words, your tone, your attitude has to be right. Not railing on your husband, not raising your voice towards your husband, not speaking to your husband in a critical, condescending, demeaning fashion. That will only alienate and push your husband away, by the way. And so this is really important. We're talking about respect. And so this respect for the wife, it also is translated, communicated in how a wife speaks about her husband when he's not there. How you speak about him in the company of other women. Making him look good, speaking right about him, not highlighting his flaws, but highlighting his strengths. It's all about respect. Let me close by looking at one verse. Ephesians 5:33, a great verse. It says this, however, now it's wrapping up Paul's discourse to husband and wives. And he says, however, let each one of you love his wife as himself. God sets that's a real high standard. If we'll do what the word says, boy, it brings such a peace. It brings such harmony. It brings such love and affection into our homes. For I'm telling you, it's heaven on earth. Now look what he says here. And let the wife see that she respects her husband. King James says the word reverence her husband. So if we want our homes to be what God intended them to be, and to experience the peace, the beauty, the love, the affection, I'm telling you, and the blessing of God in our homes the way he intended, we got to bring respect back to our relationships. Bring it into, it's a vital part. It's a core part of the marriage relationship and hence to our homes and families. Let's respect one another. Let's see what God will do in our lives. Again, respect is powerful. If you like this video, if it's helpful in any way, share it with a family, friend, or loved one. They need to hear it. It will help them. Pass the word on. Subscribe to our page. Leave a comment. Also, check out the video link below and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time.